Hey all and welcome back to Pokémon Colosseum. Reba, baby, it's Mirror B time!
So now we've taken a step away from opening the parts with the finger snapping and now we're onto this funky groove instead. And I'm not sure whether that's an upgrade or downgrade, because they're both fucking cool songs, but whatever.
I didn't realise he was allowed to send out 4 Pokémon at once, I'm gonna be honest.
Well, I mean, they're his dance troupe, so he's got to have them all there, hasn't he?
I want my own set of hype Pokémon just following me everywhere.
I mean, that would be sick. I don't know whether it'd have the same effects with Pokemon other than Ludicolo, I guess, unless you get some, like, big fucking, like, macho things, like maybe some dragons or whatever. But, you know.
Yes,
I think the only way that you would actually be able to get a similar effect would be having, like, 4 Jinxes, or...
that would be a very different effect entirely, Richard.
Yes, it would. Oh, okay, we get to fight one of the Cypher admins. Is this the first time Cypher has been, like, spelled out via name and whatnot?
Well, no, because we had the Cypher peons on the way in. Like, when they came to collect us to offer us our grand prize on the bridge, we fought in. Well, I think that was Cypher peon Noah, because that was the one with the Yanma that can be a bit of a bitch to track down later.
It is fine. Specifics. We don't need him here. So is he just going to use a team of Ludicolos? Is that Mirror B's gimmick for him?
For the most part, yeah. Like, Ludicolo are his signature Pokemon, and he has a strategy where he has Rain Dance going, and basically his skill is that he's constantly healing, because Ludicolo, its ability, it kind of collects up health as it's raining. So that kind of makes the already annoying to fight Pokemon, because of its, like, big collection resistances now take even longer to take down, which is honestly quite a genius strategy. Yeah. And that's something that I noticed quite a bit with the way the bosses work in this game, because it seems like the regular enemies or regular trainers have some completely fucking dumb AI, and like they'll do all kinds of shit that don't necessarily make sense. Like their shadow Pokemon will kill themselves with Shadow Rush, and you get the whole attacking ghost types with normal moves and that. They don't really know what they're doing. Whereas it seems the bosses have pre-scripted strategies that they use. Like you'll see this here, and we'll see more when we get to the other Cypher admins. They all have their own like setups that make sense and works for them. And it just seems like an interesting way, because I'm not exactly sure how the AI works for other games, other than, well, Pokemon are dumb, trainer Pokemon are smarter. So, like, I guess they probably had their entire separate, I guess, engine for this game that works completely differently to most of them.
I mean, so the other thing that's interesting about Mirror B's team is that, so 2 of the Ludicolos have rain dishes, which is what allows them to heal. The other 2 Ludicolos, which are the 2 at the lower levels, have Swift Swim, which means that when it rains, they're faster. So you've got that whole thing. And then randomly, each of them has a slightly different moveset. All of them have Rain Dance. And yeah, but then you've got one that has Razor Leaf and Ice Beam and Astonish. One has Astonish, Absorb and Water Gun. One has Dive, Mega Drain and Leech Seed. And the other has Fury Stripes, Mega Drain and Water Gun. So it's a very weird setup for a team.
One of those is clearly better than the other.
Yeah, it's the level 28 one with the Ice Beam.
Well, I suppose that is his way of using a lot of the same Pokemon while still covering different ground, which that makes sense.
Yeah, I appreciate his dedication to the aesthetic while still trying to keep it competitively viable, you know?
Is this competitively viable, like, as a setup, though?
Well, you don't get to be a Cypher admin without being able to, you know, finagle a Pokemon battle or 2.
Well, I don't think he necessarily managed to get this far because of that. I think they just, saw the afro and the music and just thought, you look like an excellent supervillain. Therefore, we will co-opt you onto our team no matter how good you are at battling.
Well, look, you're not going to dress in the peon clothes. We're going to put you, like, in the top of the hierarchy. It only makes sense. Every one of us has a gimmick here. That guy's literally on fire. He uses water types. Don't ask me how that works.
Well, I mean, water types is the best kind of type for that situation, let's be honest there.
Oh, I get it. My joke makes sense now.
How bad is it when you have to explain someone's own joke to them? Jesus Christ.
Shut up. Bye, Ludicolo. See ya. Is Ludicolo offensive? I never figured that out.
I don't know. I mean, Jinx was offensive, so having a different racial stereotype might be too.
I think the key is, make it a cool stereotype that no one will complain.
Yeah, I think Ludicolo just about gets away with it because it's basically a pineapple. It doesn't actually look like any sort of race. It's vaguely humanoid, but it looks more like a duck.
It's okay,
whereas...
Richie, it's okay. You can say Ludicolo does not look like a Mexican. That's the stereotype we're talking about here.
Yes.
I thought you were being racist against Tux. Jesus.
Because obviously the whole thing with Jinx was the blackface type dealio, which, if I recall correctly, there's numerous things around exactly what Jinx's design was meant to be. I think some people were saying that it was meant to be like an emptiness. It was just sort of eyes and lips hanging sort of in the nothingness. But because obviously you can't necessarily really present that effectively when you're doing sprites, it looked like a blackface. And so that's sort of what people took it as. There is also the other thing of that whole sort of subculture of Japan, which I can't remember the name of.
Ganguro.
Yeah, it's that one. And then there's also the argument that it is just blackface, and it's definitely not okay.
I didn't really expect us to have this conversation while tackling Mirror B, but here we are, tackling the big issues. Nothing can stop HellfireComms. Oh no, demonetized.
Because if there's one place you want to go for meaningful social commentary, it's a Let's Play channel, yes.
Hey, you don't know. I want someone to make a Let's Play channel, but like in the top right or left hand corner, just have like a little TV screen that shows the news at the time of recording. That would be pretty interesting.
It would also be very depressing.
Well, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. The battle's not over. Sometimes you have to dig deep for this stuff, you know.
It's very true, and to dig a little deeper I say. So, in terms of trivia for Mirror B, in Pokémon Colosseum, he's the only Cypher admin to have a unique battle theme rather than the default Cypher admin battle theme. He's also the only character in the All games to use more than one different battle theme per game, as he uses the Cypher admin battle theme instead of his own in the final dungeon area. So then, also in terms of his name, which I have to say, it's quite lovely. Well, it's not lovely, but hilarious in other languages. So obviously, we've got Mirror B, as in Mirror Ball, in English and Japanese. In French, they called him Boule Disco, so effectively Disco Ball. In Germany, they called him Die Queen, as in Disco Queen.
Yes, thank you. I got it, Richard. I got the subtext.
I know. Italian was Disco Ball. That's really boring. And then Spanish was Discal. So I think we ended up with the name that is actually a lot more reasonable.
I don't know, Disco Queen seems a little bit more flamboyant than any of the others, just saying.
Yeah, because let's face it, Mirror B is as flaming as a Charizard's tail.
Yes.
I wish you wouldn't use that particular word to describe flamboyancy, just saying.
Why, are you like Mirror B flame? Do we need to have a discussion after this?
Oh, I am a flaming Moltres.
Oh, fucking James, Jesus Christ.
I fucking love that line so much.
And we're done. Hooray. Oh, there's still
With that
one more.
particular Ludicolo, yeah, there's another one, just dancing over there, healing himself constantly, because fuck you. But what's this?
Oh, ooh, is it Shadow? Oh, yes it is.
Of course it is.
I mean, I was a little bit disappointed when I first played this that he didn't have a Shadow Ludicolo, but Sudowoodo is kind of cool in its own right too.
Yeah, I like the texturing on this mold for Sudowoodo.
It is good. I think it's one of those things where it is just a complete surprise when he comes out with this Sudowoodo, because you can probably figure out that he's going to be using Ludicolo quite early on, because you do see them at some point or other, so you can sort of prepare the Pokemon that you bring in. But the Sudowoodo is sort of the trump card, which you don't expect and could potentially screw you over because it might attack some of the weaknesses that you're bringing in. Because if you've got like a flying Pokemon in to try and deal with the grass type of Ludicolo, which I think is probably one of the easiest ways of getting rid of Ludicolos is using a flying type.
Yeah.
And that Sudowoodo will come in and just wreck your shit.
With what exactly? Does it have Rock Throw or anything on it, Richie?
It has Rock Slide.
Oh shit.
So, and obviously Rock Slide is quite dangerous. Not very accurate, but also the fact that it destroys 2 Pokemon on the field at once, which is very, very unhelpful.
Yeah, I can imagine like using Rock Slide in the middle of the ocean or in the sky, for example, would be very inaccurate.
Oh, really?
Well, yes, but even in this type of setting, you know, where we're in a cave, it can be inaccurate. It's weird. I don't think I've ever really properly gotten the accuracies of Pokemon moves. But hey, it's a thing, and we just live with it.
Yeah, if the computer wants to dick you over, it will dick you over. Don't try and fight against it.
Now, with Sudowoodo, I remember thinking this Pokemon was something a bit special back in the day, given it was kind of an event type thing in like Silver and Gold, where you would have to get the water bottle thing and go and basically piss it off and initiate a battle with it so you could get through to the next town.
Yeah.
But really, I've never actually got much use from one in a like party, like in a battle team.
No.
And that's quite often because whenever I'm playing through the games that he appears in, like outside of this, I would normally have like a Graveler.
Yeah.
And just use that as my Pokemon to cover like the rock type. And because that's got ground as well, it's got the extra layer of like resistance against electricity, which can be useful. Not so much doubling down on its water and grass weaknesses, but hey, you can't win them all.
I think that is sort of the thing that does kill off Sudowoodo a little bit, because it is just a rock type, and that is all it really has.
And it's all it'll ever be. Look at you with your lack of promise. You sicken me.
But I mean, I suppose the trick with it is that you look at it, you think it's a grass type, but it's actually a rock type. That's sort of the trick. But then, as soon as you know it's a rock type, it becomes very, very nothingy as a Pokemon.
I mean, it's literally called Pseudo Wood. What do you expect? It should get a Mega Evo where it becomes Rock Grass or something.
And actually, I'm pretty sure the rock grass, apart from I think perhaps quad weakness to ice, is actually quite an effective Pokemon typing, because I believe that Cradily and that line in Ruby Sapphire is that type, and I've always struggled to take them down because it is a surprisingly sturdy type combination.
It is, yeah, because obviously you'd want to bring in Flying for the grass, but then there's Rock to counter it, and there they go, sauntering away, all in a line. Well, the Sudowoodo's ours now, that's what we came here for.
Yeah, and speaking of Sudowoodo and these 3D games, its pre-evolution Bonsly, it actually made its video game debut in Pokemon XD. It just had like a little cameo appearance, and I think in one of the like little mini games you could control it, but only in a limited format. It didn't make its proper appearance until Gen 4, but like they decided to tease it early. And that was a Pokemon that was one of the few that was teased ahead of time, because there were actually a good handful of them. Like we saw Lucario before Gen 4 came out, like was announced properly. We also saw Munchlax, the pre-evolved Snorlax, which I remember really liking Munchlax back in the day. His design was really fucking endearing.
And he's voiced by Jason Griffith.
Ah, nice. I also recall that Munchlax, I think, also made its video game debut in Pokemon XD Gales of Darkness along with Bonsly, because that was one of the things that they did do with XD, was they used it as a sort of pre-release springboard for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, which is quite an effective way of going about it, really.
They were teasing Gen 4 for ages before we ever actually saw them properly. And I guess that might have been what hurt my hype for it a little bit, because I was excited to play Gen 4, but I feel like I'd burnt myself out on all the designs and that before I even played the fucking game.
Yeah.
I think it's something that they've gotten slightly better at in the past few years, because I do remember it felt like it took a while between the sort of announcement of Pokemon for Gen 4 and the actual game coming out, whereas now you're generally about maybe a year or so out, maybe less, by the time they actually start revealing any Pokemon for the next generation.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, back to happenings. We have rescued the Plusle. Duking is pleased. Thankfully, Plusle was not turned into a shadow Pokemon, so all's well that ends well. Might as well just roll the credits now.
Oh, but that's a shame. Like, that would have gave it at least one, like, cool factor about it, because this Plusle is fucking useless.
Well, I mean, it can help out in double battles, which is exclusively what Colosseum thrives on, so...
Yeah, but it's pitifully underleveled, and, like... It's not really worth your time powering up, given you got the fucking Flaffy.
Yep, and also just in general, Plusle is not a very good Pokemon, and it's even worse where you don't have the Minun to balance it out, to make it maybe slightly less terrible, but not very much less terrible.
Like, I will say Plusle Minun, as far as designs go, they're really not my favourites of the Pikachu clone type of designs they sort of shoehorn in. I think my favourite of them is probably Emolga from Gen 5, because at least that's got, like, this slight different trait to it, where it can, like, what is it, Volt Switch, I think the attack, its main attack, that is really fucking cool to use. Like, it's annoying to fight against when the gym leader in Gen 5 uses it, but you know... But here we are talking to Fatigue, where we're going to get told where to go next, because we can finally get out of this shithole.
God, well, how many parts have we been in Pyrite Town exactly?
Since part 3, I think.
Jeez.
No.
Oh, you're the one who said, oh, don't make the parts too long.
True. Alright, so we've got to head to the north, where Rui's grandpa lives. Oh, okay, at least we can let him know that she's safe now.
Yeah, she managed to forget that's where she was going, so God knows how long they've been dicking around here while he's been worrying what the fuck's going on.
Indeed. Well, next time we'll be heading to Agate Town, and we'll see what's what there. See you next time. When I remember when parts are supposed to end. Goodbye!